Okay, so inequalities are basically made up of a couple of signs. Okay, so the signs would be something like this: 5 is bigger than 4. That sign there means it's bigger than it. 4 is smaller than 5. So do you see the way the sign turned around? Okay. Yeah. Now, what I want to do is this, right? If I said 2 plus 1 is smaller than 5, everybody agree with that? Yeah. Now, if I do a spin is a move where you reverse around the sign, and you just reverse. You just reverse where the numbers are. You move this side to that side, that side. It's not you're not changing sign at all. All you're doing is you're flipping around the full thing. So just call it a spin, okay? And don't think too much about it. It's just like a reverse. Yeah. No, no. All teachers know it. It's like adding. It's as accepted as adding things together. Doing something like that. No. Okay. Now, next thing is what happens when you multiply both sides by -1 is a major concern with these numbers, right? So if I said 5 is bigger than 3, what happens when I multiply both sides by -1? -5 minus 3. What sign should go in here to make this work? -5 is smaller than -3. So when you multiply both sides by -1, it causes it to flip around. Okay. Now, the next thing I gotta go through, which is number lines. Okay. So you would have done this at junior cert level. You probably haven't done it since. So what we have here, guys, is 3 lines. Okay. So just a standard number line: -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Actually, do you know what? I'll just group it and clone it. It's easier. Group it. Sorry? It is indeed. So, save myself the hassle. There's another one. There's another one. And there's... Okay. I think I'm okay. Now, mass produced. Mass produced maths. No, what is this? Selling out. Now, what we have here, guys, is if I give you an example, we'll start off really basic, right? So, anybody tell me what element n means? Element n. Natural numbers. And natural numbers all have to be, do you have to be whole numbers bigger than 0? And not including 0 anymore. They don't include 0 anymore, okay? I will double check that because it used to include 0. And then they decided it doesn't include 0. So I'm just going to make sure they're still not including 0 and they didn't change their mind back. But for the time being, we're not including 0. Okay? Now, what happens is, if I set this, all the numbers that are bigger than 1, and x element n means we're only taking in natural numbers into consideration. What's the answer for this on the number line? Just 1's not included. So it's 2, 3, and 4. No, not yet. Okay. Now, because it's element n has to be whole numbers, Lee. So there's no fractions and no decimals allowed, which means you don't fill it in. It's only when fractions and decimals are allowed that you fill it in. The next thing I'm going to say is, what happens when I put greater than in here? Greater than or equal to. What happens then? The 1 is then included. Does that make sense? So the 1 is included when greater than or equal comes into play. Now, another trick regards x element n. What happens if I change the question to something like this? So once again, x element n, but I'm going to say, oh, x is greater than or equal to -2. X is an element of n. Do I start from -2? Why am I not allowed to start from -2? It's x element n. So I have to start at 1, 2, 3. And it keeps going on forever, so you include an arrow to say that you're going to go on forever and it's never going to stop. Does that make sense? Now, we're going to do another one. We're now going to introduce x element z. Okay? Can anybody tell me what element Z is? Element Z is integers. What is an integer? So, element Z means anything from, like, oh sorry, that's an N. Element Z means anything from, let's say, it can be -10, -9, -8, -7, -6, and it just keeps going on. Then it'll go on to 1, 2, 3. It goes on for infinity in both directions. It'll just keep going and going and going, and it never stops, ever. Okay. Now, in a question like this, what I could ask you is what I could ask you guys is something like this. List down all the results of x smaller than 3. How would you do that? X smaller than 3. X element z. 2, 1, 0, and then you can just draw the line. Nothing in between, because z is whole numbers. As in -9, -10. You're not allowed to have fractions or decimals. I'll get to that now, okay? Now, finally, when you get a bit further along, what you might get is x element r. Now, x element r is slightly different. With x element r, what you're going to do is decimals and fractions are allowed. So if I was to write down x greater than -3, what would you say there? This means that 2.99999 is allowed. You draw a hollow circle. The hollow circle means the -3 isn't included, but everything else after that is. So you just shade it in, and then you draw your arrow like that. Now, if I change this question to greater than or equal to -3, what happens then? You shade it in, and that means that the 3 is included. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we're going to concentrate on next is one of these questions, okay? An example would be the likes of question 3. X is an element of n, no bother. 5x minus 3 greater than 3x plus 1. Bring the x's to one side. So what happens? Yeah. 1 plus 3. 2x greater than 4x greater than 2. Don't change the sign, because you didn't multiply by -1, and you didn't do a spin either. So there's no need to change the sign around. Now what happens is it's greater than 2. So 3, 4, then you can put in 5 if you want, and then just draw an arrow. That right? Very easy, to the point. Now, if I have the likes of question, so that's question 3. It's quite easy, okay? So look, I'll move on to the next part. Just keep this with me. Okay, starts to get a bit fancier now. So the likes of what one would be a good one? This one's a good one. Number 8's a very good one to do. Okay, so number 8, multiply it out, and what you get? So 4x minus 8, yeah, greater than or equal to, yeah, minus 5, yeah, minus 9, yeah. I'm not multiplying the minus 9, because the minus 9 is clearly away from the bracket. Just something. Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to tidy it up, because I told you that I don't like you bringing over too many things at once. The next thing we're going to do then is bring the 10x to the left and the 8 to the right. What would you have done? Okay, what we'll do is we'll split it up into 2 different techniques, and we'll see that we get to the same spot, okay? I'll finish off my technique first, and then I'll do a counter one for your one, okay? So what we're going to get here, guys, is 4x minus 10x is greater than minus 14 plus 8. Everybody happy with that? Now here's what we're going to do next. Minus 6x is greater than or equal to minus 14 plus 8. Minus 6. I'm going to ask you to multiply both sides by minus 1. What happens when you multiply both sides by minus 1? Sign flips, so we're going to get 6x less than or equal to 6. Divide by 6 now. X less than or equal to 1. Now, Cameron asked me to come from it a different way. The different way he would have suggested was bringing the 4x over to the 10x and the 14 over towards the 8. Is that what you were suggesting, Cameron? Okay, so Cameron would say, I'm going to bring the 4x over here and bring the 14 to the other side. He's going to get 14 minus 8 greater than or equal to 10x minus 4x. 6 is greater than or equal to 6x. I suggest a spin. Spin it, and you'll get 6x less than or equal to 6, x less than or equal to 1. Same thing. Okay? One of them you have to spin, the other one you can multiply by minus 1. Take your choice. Now, it's x is less than or equal to 1. X is an element of R. What do you think about x element R then? Full circle, because it's included. And is it going to the right or to the left? It's less than 1. So it keeps going on, and then you just draw your arrow. And there you go, there's your number line. Each of these questions has a number line answer. Just remember that. All of them will have a number line answer. I know that makes you very happy, Jack. Now, what happens next, guys, is we have a look at a fraction one, the likes of question 10. Is a fraction one. Now, as we've trained ourselves in the last couple of weeks, what happens when we have different denominators? We'll always find a common one, because we don't really deal with different denominators anymore, okay? So, just for the record, I've done questions 3, 8, and now 10. Okay, what can I do with the fractions, lads? Sorry? Make them all the same. So, 2 on the bottom, 2 on top, yeah. 5 on the bottom, 5 on top, and then that's already a 10. 2 by 3x. Less than or equal to 3. 10's cancel, don't they? Then x is less than or equal to. X is an element of R. So, what does that mean if it's R? Hollow or filled in? Okay, and it's filled in because it's included. Okay, sorry for the shading job there. You'd probably do, to be honest, you'd probably do something like this. You'd probably have you'd probably do something a bit more like that. That's the way it should look. Yeah, you can just go a bit bigger, and then we shade it in like that. All right. Okay.